So, my name is Veronica. I'm an Akashic Record Consultant. The Akashic Records are just an energy like anything else, except that they are an energy of what I call source. I tap into this energy that feels very pure, very, very loving, and I bring forth information to people in individual readings. Basically, what I'm here to talk about is this intensity that we're experiencing. So I'm going to start giving you some symptoms, and you'll probably feel them or have felt them. The past few weeks have been extremely intense. Specifically, you're probably so tired that you can't function. You can't get out of bed. You can't do anything. You're feeling depressed. You're feeling tired. You're feeling immobilized. You're feeling like there's all these choices and you can't make a friggin' decision. Okay? You're also sensing a place of loneliness and knowing that you want to do something greater. You're sensing that there's all this stuff out there you should be doing that can't lift any part of your physical being to go out and do that. Okay? So what's happening, and I personally like to use this analogy of birth as a analogy because I have 4 children and they all came into the world very different. We've all come into the world through some form of birth. Okay? And what we're going through now is our own birth into this greater peace, this greater expanded being that we don't even realize we are. We are getting an inkling of that. That's what we're feeling. That's what's giving us the hope to keep going. But really what we're giving birth to is this greater sense of self. And what you felt in the past few weeks was what I would call a very intense contraction. Okay? So when you're in this process of an intense contraction, one thing to do is to breathe. Okay? You cannot stop necessarily the contractions. With my twins, they tried to stop the contractions because they were 6 weeks too early and they wanted to stop it, and so I got medication. And there was so much of a force of life wanting to come through anyway that it couldn't be stopped. What you can do, though, is get support through those times. You can say, drugs, I need drugs. Really, I do need drugs right now. I'm not doing this anymore. It's too painful. Okay? My drug of choice will be shopping, will be eating, and even though they're not the healthiest means, they are the most human. When we go into our addictions, we are acting out of our human place. I'm not telling you you should. I'm saying, why would you beat up on yourself for being perfectly human? And if that's all you can do is handle that human, horrible pain is by being in that place of need and addiction, so be it. The next piece is by using the natural method, which is to, hold off from the drugs. And how can you hold off from the drugs? How do you keep yourself from going into those addictive places? Well, one would be to have someone loving right there at your side saying, you can do this. Okay? They're often known as a midwife or a doula, holding your hand saying, you're going to make it. Sometimes it comes in the form of a best friend, sometimes it's in a therapist, sometimes it's in, just a conversation or a smile from someone else. You're going to make it. The other is that you breathe through that. Again, the breath, breathing through it. You squeeze someone's hand if you need to, literally or figuratively. You cry on someone's shoulder. You get that place of comfort, knowing that you will make this through. What I'm seeing on the greater picture is that we are moving into this greatness that is so grand that this baby that we are becoming has a big head and a big being coming with it. And that's pretty intense. So one of the things we're experiencing, now let's put the birth analogy aside and move directly into sort of our symptomatic experiences. One of the things that we're experiencing, because anytime we give birth to something, anytime there's a birth, usually it's because of the cycle of life, which means there's the death. So what you're mourning right now and what you're grieving is the loss of all that we were holding dear. Okay? All of our old patterns, all of our old ways of being, all of our neuroses, all of that has been washed away whether we wanted it to or not. So it's much easier when you pay for a therapist, you say, I'd really like to work on this issue, and you start working, and you're consciously working on it, and you get to see some progress, and it goes away in time, right? Well, over the past few weeks, that stuff was just taken away. Not all of it, obviously. We're still here, we're still hurting, there's still all these pieces. But that stuff, without our so-called permission, there is a permission on some level, has been washed away. So you may have lost friends, you may have lost finances, you may be at risk of losing your home. All of these things that we are trying to attach to, whether they be physical, three-dimensional, real things, or emotional things, patterns, behaviors, those are all being pulled. And we are scared to death. It's like, but that's me. That's who I am. That's what I know. There's this amazing astrologer that I just love. He's a very high being, and I went to him recently, and he says, we could always just hit that uninstall button. And as soon as he said that, because these are all old programs that we're releasing, right? As soon as he said that, I thought, I don't want to hit that uninstall button. First of all, look at the effortlessness and the ease in knowing all you got to do is click on uninstall. Who's ready to uninstall? I'll put it in the recycle bin for a little while, so I can drag it out whenever I want to act it out and play with it. But I'm not about to uninstall all my stuff. It's what I know, it's who I am, it's what I've identified with for, how many years? So totally releasing that is just a little too frightening. So, like any good yogic pose, many of our yoga poses, which I do take yoga a couple times a week, will often have us do this twisting to squeeze out all those toxins. And you just have to hold that pose for a few seconds, however long, sometimes excruciatingly, sometimes it feels blissful, it's hard to tell which. And what's happening is you're torquing and twisting your physical being so that you're wringing out the toxins out of all those organs. Okay? So because we are ready as a conscious species trying to wake up, the universe is twisting us to release all those toxins. So make sure you drink plenty of water. Literally, drink plenty of water. Allow that energy, that flow to keep moving through you and wash it out. Anytime you have the urge to do a cleanse, literally do a cleanse. There's that lemon cleanse that is very popular. There are herbal cleanses. There are lots. So when that urge feels right, to allow yourself to be cleansed physically. We're also in a phase, because we are trying to wake up to these higher, noble, more enlightened beings, so-called, that we want to start to cleanse also our environments. And again, there are lots of layers of this. One is literally going through your house and doing a nice spring cleaning. Now, it may feel like spring cleaning, but you're kind of doing life cleaning at this point. These are big things. Maybe that's when you actually have the estate sale and you get rid of things that no longer serve you. The other part that you're starting to cleanse are the people, and this is extremely painful. Some of them are dropping like flies, whether they're dying, right? How many people do you know that are actually like terminally ill? Or that they just disappeared, or something big has happened in your life, or it's through intention of your own saying, I can't be around this energy anymore. And that's really painful when you have to be the one to make that choice. When you have to be the one to make that choice to say, I can't have this being in my energy field anymore, it's sucking me dry. Because as you're trying to lift and grow and become that which you already are anyway, the last thing you need is anything to pull you any farther down. So it's really staying clear. I recommend, staying free of the media. I will rent an occasional movie and watch something that's totally fluffy because I cannot handle anything that's not. And but in terms of I haven't had a TV for years. I don't even know what's going on in the world. That doesn't make me any less enlightened.